At 70, many people are told, directly or indirectly, that their best days are behind them. Society tends to paint aging as a decline, a fade into quietness. But what if I told you the real secret to living well past 70 isn't about the absence of disease or even the presence of wealth, but about whether or not you wake up with purpose? Purpose isn't about having a job or chasing deadlines. It's deeper than that. It's the quiet hum in your chest when you open your eyes each morning. It's knowing that something you do today matters, even if it's just to one person, even if it's just to yourself. When a 70-year-old still wakes up with a reason to water the garden, to mentor a young person, to write, to volunteer, to feed the birds, to pray, to create, to love, they are winning at life. Let me tell you about Helen. She turned 71 last spring. A retired librarian, she spends her mornings walking to the community center with a stack of donated books. Every Tuesday, she leads a reading circle for underprivileged kids. "It's the reason I don't hit snooze," she laughs. "It's the reason I stretch, dress up, and stay sharp." Helen doesn't run marathons. She's not rich. She's had a knee replaced and takes medication daily. But she is fully alive because her life still feels meaningful. In fact, research backs this up. Studies from Blue Zones, places around the world where people live well into their 90s and beyond, consistently show that a sense of purpose, or ikigai as the Japanese call it, adds years to life. Purpose helps reduce stress hormones, stabilize blood pressure, and increase motivation to stay active and connected. Purpose doesn't have to be loud. You don't have to run a charity or teach at a university. Purpose can live in small, sacred routines. Sending a daily voice message to your grandchildren, growing herbs and gifting them to neighbors, writing letters to old friends, caring for a spouse or pet, recording life lessons to pass down. The point is, something must pull you forward. Purpose is what gets your feet on the ground and your heart out of bed. Without it, even the healthiest body begins to decline. With it, even a tired body will keep trying. Many older adults lose their sense of purpose when their careers end, when children move away, or when they outlive their spouse. But here's the beautiful truth. You can create new purpose at any stage. You can mentor younger people who need wisdom. You can join a cause that reflects your values. You can rediscover something that once brought you joy. Painting, poetry, prayer. There is no expiration date on meaning. If you're over 70 and still wake up thinking, "I have something to give, something to enjoy, something to complete," then you are already richer than most people your age. You are, in the deepest sense, winning. And if you don't yet feel this way, you're not too late. Purpose can be planted at 71, 81, or 91. And when it takes root, life becomes vibrant again. The second sign: you move your body every day, no matter how small the steps. If there's one universal truth about longevity, it's this: motion is medicine. At 70, 80, or even 90, the simple act of moving your body every single day, whether it's walking, stretching, dancing, or lifting a grocery bag, can be the difference between independence and decline. Let's be very clear. This isn't about going to the gym or having a six-pack. This is about staying engaged with your environment. Being able to get out of bed, open the refrigerator, bend down to pick something up, and walk down the hallway with confidence. These are not small things. These are the daily victories that keep life possible. When you move your body, you're telling it, "I still need you," and the body responds. Muscles don't fade as quickly. Bones don't weaken as fast. Joints stay lubricated. Blood keeps flowing. Lungs stay open. And perhaps most importantly, the mind stays sharp. Take Mr. Thomas, for example. He's 74, lives alone, and starts each morning with a 10-minute routine. A light stretch, 20 slow steps back and forth in his living room, and a few heel raises by the sink. That's it. But he hasn't missed a day in 5 years. His doctor says his balance is better than most 60-year-olds. Too often, seniors stop moving because they're afraid of falling. But ironically, it's the lack of movement that leads to weakness, which increases the fall risk even more. It becomes a cruel cycle, one we must break. The trick isn't doing more. It's doing something, consistently. March in place during commercials, walk the hallways after meals, use soup cans as light weights, do gentle ankle circles before bed, stretch your arms while sitting. These movements may seem insignificant, but science says otherwise. A study from Harvard found that just 15 minutes of light daily activity in older adults reduces risk of mortality by up to 22%. Movement also reduces joint stiffness, improves digestion, lowers blood pressure, and supports immune function. But beyond the physical, it builds mental confidence. The moment you stop fearing your own body is the moment you start trusting life again. And it doesn't have to be done alone. There are walking clubs for seniors, seated yoga videos online, and even TikTok grandmas dancing in their kitchens. The point is, your body is still willing. It just needs an invitation. So if you're 70 and you're still moving, even slowly, even imperfectly, you're not just functioning. You're fighting, you're living, you're winning. And if you're not yet moving daily, start now. Pick one movement, do it for a week, then add another. Let motion become your medicine. The third sign, you're still learning. Your mind hasn't retired. There's a quiet kind of rebellion in a 70-year-old learning something new. Society says, slow down, but you say, teach me. And that choice, to stay mentally active, is one of the clearest signs you're not just aging, you're aging brilliantly. Let's bust a myth right now. The brain does not have an expiration date. It's a living organ that thrives on challenge, stimulation, and novelty. In fact, neuroscience shows that new learning builds new neural pathways, even in older adults. The more you learn, the more connected and resilient your brain becomes. Learning doesn't have to mean sitting in a classroom. It can be trying a new recipe, watching documentaries, learning to use a smartphone or app, picking up a new hobby like sketching or puzzles, exploring genealogy or family history, reading a new genre. Every time you engage with something unfamiliar, you're exercising mental muscles. That's why seniors who continue learning are less likely to develop dementia and depression. Their brains remain elastic, curious, and adaptive. Take Rosa. She's 79 and recently started learning Italian through an app. She practices 20 minutes a day and writes down her favorite phrases. It keeps me on my toes, she laughs, and someday I'm going to Rome. She may or may not go, but the act of wanting to learn, the joy of progress, the stretching of her mind, that's what's making her feel 20 years younger. Learning also reactivates a part of the self that many seniors feel they've lost: agency. When you master a new skill or grasp a new idea, you feel powerful. You feel alive. You realize the world is still open to you. If you've ever looked up something new on YouTube, asked a grandchild how to use a feature on your phone, or read a book that challenged your thinking, you're already doing it. You're still learning, and that means you're still growing. But what if you haven't? What if you feel stuck in routine? Then let this be your invitation. Sign up for a local library event. Download a free audiobook. Start writing down your life story. Try journaling. Learn one new word a day. It's never too late, because when you stop learning, you stop expanding. And when you start again, even at 90, your world reopens. If you're 70 or beyond and still feeding your mind, you are not only surviving, you are thriving. You are winning. The fourth sign, you still laugh and connect with people. Joy and bonding still matter. If you're 70 or beyond and you still find reasons to laugh, you're winning at life more than you know. Laughter isn't just a byproduct of joy. It's a survival skill, especially as we age. Why? Because laughter connects us. It reduces stress, boosts the immune system, and reminds the brain that life is still worth showing up for. But this sign is about more than laughter. It's about connection. The quiet, healing power of companionship, friendship, and community. Whether it's a neighbor you wave to each morning, or a childhood friend you talk to on the phone once a week, staying socially connected is a lifeline for seniors. Let me share a story. John is 75 and lost his wife 4 years ago. For a while, he barely spoke to anyone. He stopped going out, stopped smiling. His daughter eventually convinced him to attend a weekly senior cafe at the local community center. The first few visits were hard, but then he met Harold, a retired train conductor who loved jazz just as much as John. They started talking, sharing stories, even playing dominoes. A few months later, John was laughing again. He was alive again. Connection heals. According to a Harvard study spanning 80 years, the single most consistent predictor of happiness and longevity wasn't income, health, or genetics. It was quality relationships. Not quantity, quality. Just a few good people in your circle can extend your life and improve your mood, sleep, and memory. You don't need a crowd. You need companions. A friend to share lunch with. A neighbor who checks in. A sibling who calls. A local group or club. The fifth sign, you've made peace with the past and live in the now. Freedom of the mind. At 70, the mind becomes a museum of memories. Some beautiful, some painful, some we wish we could relive, and others we desperately wish we could forget. But here's the truth. Those who are truly winning at life in their 70s are not haunted by the past. They've made peace with it. Making peace doesn't mean forgetting or pretending. It means accepting, understanding that everything that happened, good or bad, shaped you, molded your strength, forged your compassion, gave you perspective. And once that acceptance comes, the mind finally lets go of the weight. You start living lighter. Seniors who make peace with their past don't dwell on regrets. They reflect, learn, forgive, and move forward. They don't replay old arguments or hold grudges for decades. They understand the value of serenity. They understand that time is too precious now to be spent looking backwards. Take Marjorie, for instance. At 76, she finally forgave herself for not being the perfect mother, for not finishing college, for the times she doubted herself. "It doesn't serve me anymore," she said. "The only thing that matters now is the next moment." There's wisdom in letting go, in no longer trying to rewrite the past, in no longer chasing approval or mourning things that didn't happen. That emotional freedom is rare, and it's one of the most powerful signs of a fulfilling life. But equally important is the ability to live in the now, to feel the sun on your face, to enjoy the taste of your morning tea, to listen to your grandchild's laughter without mentally drifting into yesterday's grief or tomorrow's fear. When you're present, you're alive. Not just existing, living. Being present doesn't require silence or meditation mats. It just means noticing. The way the breeze moves your curtain, the joy of a meal you cooked yourself, the calm of sitting alone without rushing to fill the silence, the gratitude for simply waking up today. Seniors who can stay present without being pulled into past mistakes or future worries, are winning at a spiritual level. They become magnets of calm. People want to be around them. They radiate something most of us are still chasing: peace. And peace is not passive. It's the ultimate reward after decades of battling through life's storms. So, if you've made peace with your past and can feel joy in the ordinary present, you are not just living after 70. You're teaching the rest of us how to live. But there's still one final, most powerful sign left. The sixth sign: you give love freely and receive it with grace. The true meaning of winning at 70 plus. If you've reached 70 and your heart is still open, if you can still say, "I love you," still offer help, still smile at strangers, still hug someone without hesitation, then you are not just winning at life, you are shining. The final and most powerful sign of a life well lived after 70 is this: you give love freely without keeping score. And you allow yourself to receive it without guilt or resistance. This isn't the kind of love you had at 20. It's wiser. It's quieter. It's made of patience, empathy, forgiveness, and a deep knowing that love isn't just a feeling, it's a way of being. Too many people reach old age with walls built high from betrayal, grief, or pride. But the happiest, healthiest seniors, they've let those walls down. They let people in. They tell their family they care. They mentor. They pray for others. They cook, call, text, write, listen, visit. They love without needing anything in return. Take the story of Bill and Nora. Both in their 80s, they host a porch dinner every Sunday. Neighbors, grandkids, sometimes even strangers sit at their table. You can't run out of love, Bill says, so why not give it away like bread? But just as important as giving love is receiving it. Many seniors struggle with this. They feel like burdens. They refuse help. They push away care. But here's the truth: allowing others to love you is a gift to them. It lets them express their own humanity. It teaches your children how to care. It shows your grandchildren what tenderness looks like. To receive love gracefully, without guilt, without protest, is to say, "I know my worth. I know I'm still lovable." When you can give and receive love freely, you're not just surviving, you're nourishing your spirit and others too. That's legacy. That's strength. That's beauty. So let's tie it all together. If you are 70 or beyond, and you wake up with purpose, you move daily, you keep learning, you connect and laugh, you live in the present, you give and receive love freely, then you, my friend, are truly winning at life. Here's your call to action. Share this video with someone who needs to hear it, someone who thinks aging is the end. Let them see what's possible. Subscribe for weekly insight, comfort, and keep this video short and motivation for life after 60. Leave a comment. What sign do you see in yourself? Or which one do you want to grow? Because this journey isn't over, not even close. You're not fading, you're blooming. Let's bloom together.